Hey everyone, this is Hero Talamai 2011. Welcome back to more Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we missed killing a bubble. No, that's not what happened. Last episode, we started Arbiters Grounds, and we're still having frame rate issues. In this episode, we're going to continue Arbiters Grounds to the second half, and surprisingly, even though we're in the second half of Arbiters Grounds, we still don't have the dungeon item. We're going to be getting that in this episode. In the last episode, I was talking about the possibility of there being a Twilight Princess HD because apparently there was a, not really a leak, and I was waiting for this guy to show up because I wasn't going to jump down, but I'm going to jump down now anyway, and I'm going to get hurt. That's unavoidable, by the way. If it is, someone tell me in the comments. But, anyway, we have a makeshift elevator here. We want to go to the middle section to get the small key that we need, and then go all the way down, but I'm gonna just explore the entire section just to see what it has. In any case, in the last episode, we talked about the possibility of there being a Twilight Princess HD due to the fact that there was an advertisement at, well, a Nintendo advertisement, which I don't know, like, if it was at a store or something, and they showed a CGI model of Twilight Princess Link holding the same pose as Link in Twilight Princess, the pose where his sword is like backhanded and everything. And a lot of people speculate that it might be Twilight Princess HD, along with the fact that when they someone found a list of upcoming Wii U games, and Twilight Princess HD was found on the data of Wii U download titles. Alongside possibly other GameCube games coming to the Wii U, similar to GameCube games finally coming to the Wii U, because that's something that everyone wants, and Nintendo has not done that yet. Alongside that too, the new president of Nintendo, I forget his name, it's Tatsumi something, but he pretty much said that before the year's up, we're going to get a Nintendo Direct back, which, you know, after Iwata died, it's been hard to, you know, cope with the loss and everything. And yeah, the Nintendo Direct isn't going to be the same without him. But at the same time, you know, we miss the Nintendo Direct. We want, you know, to have information told to us because really, like, a lot of the stuff this year, honestly, like, I even said this too, that maybe it's just because, a lot of stuff happened to me. Like, I fell out of contact with a former internet group that I had because, well, let's just say that we had we had some differences that prevented us from continuing any further with our friendship because it was them, not me, pretty much, and even they said that themselves. But in any case, maybe it's just because I fell out of touch with them, and maybe it's because of the lack of Nintendo Direct. But yeah, a lot of Nintendo games nowadays, well, ever since Iwata died, have had like very quiet releases just because you kind of have to like look online and find out when the game comes out and all that. Hell, I was surprised to see that, like, you know, Mario Paper Jam, like, even though there's no US release date, I'm surprised that it's coming out at the end of the year already. I'm like, wow. I still haven't beaten the fourth game too. I feel bad about that because, you know, slightly off tangent while we're going through this maze, where it's kind of self-explanatory what we gotta do in this maze, but I think I mess up once and I have to do the thing. I have to do it over again. But in any case, the Mario and Luigi series, I have a kind of weird history with it, and this is what happens with me, by the way. That I think, if I remember correctly, this Gibdo basically gets me stuck inside of this sand trap, and I end up pretty much not being able to escape, and I fall to my death. But yeah, this is exactly what happens. Anyway, the Mario and Luigi series, I have a kind of weird history with it just because I played the first game when it came out, and I liked it, but I agree with Chugga that when I played the first game, I was, like, terrible at it, just because I didn't really get the concept of an RPG, because I just sucked at video games when I was a kid. But it took me, like, forever, but I eventually did get up to, I think, either Joke's End or I got up to Fawful. the final fight with Fawful, and I could not beat him just because he was like really hard, and I couldn't like time the attacks and everything. And because of that, like I was just stuck on the game forever. And then my copy was eventually stolen. I did eventually get another copy, and Lord knows what happened to that though. But I did eventually get another copy, and I still couldn't get past Fawful. I still had the same problem. Eventually, I ended up downloading the game on a ROM onto my PSP because it had a Game Boy Advance emulator, and I finally did beat the game, but only because I had the rapid fire option. Because I used that on pretty much all the bosses, including Fawful, and that helped me cheese through some of them. Just because since I had rapid fire, I could use that to do a lot of the bros attacks in rapid succession. And then the second game, it took me forever to beat that too, but I actually did beat that relatively easily. I've never beaten the third game. Oh, I should point this out now too. I didn't know this. You can only pull these switches with Link because apparently Wolf Link isn't strong enough, which is understandable because you have to pull it with your teeth as Wolf Link. But, in any case, I've never beaten Mario & Luigi 3, and I feel really bad about that just because, the first time I got it, it wasn't for me, and back then and even to a greater extent now, I don't really have money, so. For my friend Natsu, I ended up buying him Mario & Luigi 3 because he was a really big fan of the series. I got him the third game for his birthday, but I got it early, and he pretty much because like he's a really nice guy. As a big thank you, he let me play the game for a little bit before I ultimately just gave it to him because it is his birthday present. And I got as far as there's Buku, by the way. I got as far as pretty much, I think, the first Star Cure, but I think after that I either got burnt out or I just had to give the game back. And I ended up just watching a playthrough of the rest of the game, and I was just so shocked as to like all the stuff I missed, especially the fact that I found out this game actually had like a super boss and everything. And I'm like, wow, I missed so much because this game is so good, especially because the first thing I heard of Mario & Luigi 3 was the final boss theme by Yoko Shimomura, and it's such a good theme. So much so that, like, I'm so glad they put it in Smash Bros. It's just, it bothers me too, because, like, when I finally did see the final boss of the game, honestly, it was kind of disappointing. Because, like, the theme is so great, but it doesn't really fit the final battle. I do have to admit, I love Fawful, the fact that Fawful is, like, a full-time villain, and I do love his character arc that he works so hard to become a main-time villain. He finally did, to the point where he kind of suffers the same thing as Kefka, where he obtained ultimate power, but now that he has it, he's fine. There's more Stalfos in here, by the way, but again, they die in one hit. I like to just come over here just like, hey, what you doing? He kind of dies the same way as Kefka in the sense that, because he's so, like, proud of everything that he's done, when he finally does go, he just goes in a bang just because, he did it. He made it being a villain, so he accepts the fact that he dies just because he succeeded in the one thing he wanted to do in life. But, so with that being said, I never beat 3, but I do know how it ends and everything, but I will eventually go back and beat it, because I do own the game now. And I never beat 4, because I got 4 when it came out, and I absolutely loved it. But I got stuck on this one boss, which I'm going to put on screen right now. And I know it's weird putting this on screen when, we're talking about Zelda. We're playing Zelda. We're not playing Mario & Luigi. But I got stuck on this boss, which I love the place that he comes from, too. Because it's so Final Fantasy. And it looks out of place for Mario, but it just looks so cool. I got stuck on him for so long, I just kind of gave up and lost interest in the game. And I did save a video of, like, how to beat him. But I lent it to a former friend of mine. Well, more so my brother's ex-girlfriend, and she apparently lost the game or something because I asked it back for her about like a few months ago, and she did not have it. And I for the life of me do not know what happened in the game. And right now I can't really afford to get another copy. So if I can't get another copy by the time 5 comes out, I think I'm just gonna end up watching a playthrough of the game, just play through the rest of the game, and I tried saving myself, but I couldn't. So we're gonna have to go through this room again, unfortunately. But I'm just gonna end up playing through the game again. Just either play through the game again if I can afford it, or I'm gonna just say screw it and just watch a playthrough the rest of the game, because people already spoiled the game's final boss and everything too, which made me really sad. By the way, that people spoiled the final boss for me for that game. And I know, because I usually follow the rule that if the game is 5 years old, I'm gonna start spoiling just because it's old enough. But I don't like that philosophy that, oh, it's been a year since the game came out, time to spoil. It's like people with Xenoblade. See, even I try not to spoil Xenoblade. I try to just tag all my spoilers, even if people haven't played it, which you should, by the way. But anyway, back to the actual game. After I went off on a gigantic tangent, we go into this boss fight over here, which honestly, again, this boss fight is really disturbing. We go in here and nothing really happens till we break one of the spell tags, and now, as menacing as this boss is, you haven't seen the worst of it. Once you go into wolf form, you see what he actually looks like. And just like the pose, you have to attack him when he's a wolf to make him visible, and meet Death Sword. I know, it's a stupid name, but basically this is the boss, the mini-boss of Arbiters Grounds, and again, he does not look like he belongs in Zelda. He looks like something he belongs like Skyrim or like a Western RPG or something. Anyway, what you're supposed to do is essentially just hit him with an arrow, and you can also use a slingshot boomerang to send him down, and then he'll start whacking a sword at you. I use the claw shot just because it's funny, but it's not really recommended. I'm gonna warn you right now. You can do this fight in 3 phases, but because I was trying to be fancy and cinematic when I was doing this fight, I messed up badly, and I end up doing this in 6 phases. And I know this is not the way you're supposed to do it, and I apologize for taking so long in this fight. In any case, wow, you know, it's funny, the drop in frames actually kind of makes him look cool here, because it looks like he has, like, after images and all that. In any case, if you fail to defeat him like I do here, he will actually turn invisible again, and you have to use your wolf form to bring him back into the visible realm. Another thing, too, if you fail to get him in time when he's in the air, which I kind of show... I don't get hit by it, but I do show when it happens, he will basically start sending unavoidable projectiles to you. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to be fancy with this fight here, and that's why this fight takes so long. In any case, though, I hit him in the dick. If he even has a dick, I don't know. Why am I thinking about this? So... yeah, pretty much this fight, it's really cool, and again, this guy does not look like he belongs in a Zelda game, frankly, and this is when it happens. And again, I've never taken this long in the fight, so I've never seen him do this before, so this was also a shock to me. But yeah, if he does this again, just turn to a wolf, keep biting him, and then he'll go back to the physical realm. So, I have to talk again for like another straight like 30 minutes or so, just because once again this is all post commentary right now. But luckily, and yeah, he was about to wind up for his attack, by the way. I love the way this guy cries too, but I believe this is the final blow on this guy. Please let me be right. Yeah, there we go. God, and the way he dies is so creepy too. It looks like he belongs in like something like The Mummy or something. Wow. Again, this place, I can't say enough. This place is so creepy. I just can't say enough. Well, I mean, it's suitable considering last episode goes up on Halloween, which, by the way, happy Halloween, everyone. I forgot to say this in the last episode. But in this, we have the dungeon item, the Spinner. Spinner is freaking awesome. You essentially become a Tony Hawk Pro Skater. No. No, but anyway, if you saw those grind marks in throughout the dungeon, this is what the spinner is used for. You go on top of these grind marks and you're essentially on rails, and the puzzles made from this are really, really friggin' interesting, to the point where the spinner itself has become a fan favorite item, and I don't blame the fans for this. So much so that, you know, it's one of the amiibo items that you can get in Hyrule Warriors, and it's so cool to see this thing come back and actually be used in a practical fight. So now that we have the spinner, you press X to get on and rev it up, and you use A to jump from rail to rail. We go to a little skate park over here, because now there's a heart piece for us here, and on top of that too, this is also our way out. Again, the elaborate puzzles that they have for the spinner, I really, really love in this game. The thing that just sucks is that, remember when I said that Twilight Princess has a problem of when you get certain items also become useless after that, like how the slingshot is absolutely useless at this point in the game. Yeah, it also has a problem with items only being used once and then not really used again, and it also has a problem with, whoa, I blew up his dick.
Oh my.
Wow, that sounds wrong. It also has a problem. There's our final piece of heart, by the way. I believe now we have 10 heart. Yeah, we do. Cool. We're gonna finish this dungeon with 10 hearts exactly. Anyway, while I love the spinner and the puzzles that they make out of it, it sucks that you don't see it so often. Because we're gonna go to there are some parts of Hyrule Field that do incorporate the spinner, but not much. So, mostly it's just there for pieces of heart. There's this dungeon, obviously. There's the 6th dungeon, which we're gonna cover after we go back to Sonic Adventure DX. And then there's Sacred Grove. There's also the last dungeon of the game, but that's it. So the spinner, despite being a really cool item, it's only used a few times, and it really sucks just because it has so many possibilities for really interesting dungeon design and dungeon layout, especially with all the puzzles here. And I'm gonna mess up here because basically the moment you hit one of these spikes, which I think they have an official name, but I don't know. The moment you hit one of these spikes, Link gets sent off. Here's the thing about the spinner and like the big drawback. Well, two big drawbacks. On the spinner, you essentially have to keep yourself having a momentum, so you have to be on a grind rail, on a cog rail. Otherwise, you have absolutely no momentum, and eventually the spinner will stop. And you're absolutely vulnerable when you're on the spinner. So essentially, one hit will knock you off, and if you're over a pit, well, bye-bye. In any case, I didn't show it off before, but the boss key over here was over a gigantic quicksand pit, and the only way over to it was from the other side. I should point out, and I'm gonna insert a clip right now, you can sequence break this dungeon and skip the spinner, technically, by using the Gale Boomerang trick to get over to the boss key. But again, I don't want to sequence break this game just because I want to make everything legitimate. So pretty much, I'm just gonna, you know, do everything the way it's supposed to be. In any case, we're actually near the end of the dungeon because up this staircase with the cog rail and everything is the boss of the dungeon. So not much to say about this. This is actually a pretty cool dungeon. And by the way, I know I said this dungeon's been scary and everything, but I probably killed it by having the Sonic Adventure music, aren't I? So like I said, I am inserting all this Sonic, not Sonic, but like all this dungeon music just because I love Twilight Princess OST, but I hate the dungeon music pretty much. So in any case, we you spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record baby, right round, 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 on this little wheel here. And this is another feature that's implemented with the spinner, that you have to activate stuff by going into a Beyblade section, pretty much. In any case, over here is the boss, where I'm going to pick up hearts and before entering in. Now this boss here is also really cool, but I'm going to be quiet until the boss actually starts, so I will see you guys when the boss begins.
You still live. How astonishing. No wonder some call you a hero. But this is truly a bittersweet reunion. Truly. For I fear this is the last time I will see you alive.
This is the Twilight Fossil Star-Lord. Now, his music may seem very familiar. Yeah, it's the same music as Diababa, but it does get better, trust me on that. Pretty much, this boss is self-explanatory. You have to use the spinner and hit his spinal cord, which, don't just run into it, by the way. You actually do have to hit A in order to break it, and do this a number of 3 times for him to be down. So long as you're going around the arena, he cannot harm you whatsoever. However, those spike things are following you around, so do be careful. On the 3rd phase of this fight, he's going to summon the zombie soldiers to block you even further from getting around a spine by summoning a giant wall of them. You basically just have to get rid of them by using the spinner, and they can't really harm you, so don't really worry about that. Fun fact about Star-Lord, by the way, he's actually the final boss of Link's Crossbow Training, which again, I'm going to cover at the end of this LP. But, yeah, he's the final boss of Link's Crossbow Training, and by the way, I don't know how you're, I don't know how you're doing that, dude, when you don't really have an esophagus and everything, but, you know, I'm not really going to question it. Like I said, he can't really harm you so long as you're moving, but I have been hit by some of his attacks once, just because I was not on the spinner. And don't worry, this isn't quicksand or anything. It's just, you know, you have absolutely no momentum if you are just in the middle, and we hit him, so yeah. Down goes Star-Lord. Pretty easy fight, huh, guys? Now that we beat him, his head's still there, but we have to spin, spin, spin on the center because we're pretty much trapped in a pit, so... I'm surprised that fall didn't kill Link, but that sand must be really soft. Anyway, yeah, Phase 2, he's just running away from us at the speed of sound. Anyway, this song might sound familiar. It's a remix of King Dodongo. I absolutely love this theme, and I'm probably butchering it by talking over it, but I'm playing the Hyrule Warriors version of the song right now, because Jesus, I love this song so much. Anyway, he's going to be shooting fireballs at you, so pretty much you just have to jump off the moment he's about to shoot fireballs just to trick him, and then once you're close enough, you have to ram into him with A. And now that he's down, just go to town on that sword of his. I do jump slashes personally in order to get the full attack power at, but I know that when I see speedruns of this game, you can get this done in only just 2 phases. However, I've never been able to do it, and again, I'm not really a speedrunner, so unfortunately we're going to have to do 3 phases. The phases do get harder because he adds on these spike things that you have to jump off the moment that you get near them. And by the way, you may notice that you are limited to your track. It's not unlimited. It's never happened to me before, but it is totally possible to get to the very top of the track, and if you do, he will just outright attack you and send you to the bottom. So I would suggest jumping off right as you're about to reach the top. Anyway, we have him down for his second phase, so we just keep attacking him again. There's a fun fact about the sword that Zant put into Star-Lord, by the way. That is actually his ultimate weapon in Hyrule Warriors. It doesn't have a name in this game, but it's called the Twilight Scimitar in Hyrule Warriors. And even though it's not a scimitar, it's outright just like a bastard sword. Yeah, those things are really cool, and I'm really glad you finally do have a chance to wield them in some way, shape, or form. Again, by the way, if you do plan on staying on the floor, you can't see Star-Lord, go across at the speed of sound. He'll just outright just try to ram you from behind, so be careful. In any case, we're on the final phase. All we have to do is just keep doing this again, jump into him like this, and we have one more hit on him, so let's... Alright, Link, let's go. We're close to the Mirror of Twilight. Feels kind of weird, not having a few shadows show up, right? It's kind of weird that Min is being really friendly, too. Anyway, with that 11th Architair jutting out, let's head outside. Something I should note about this dungeon, too, this is the first time that when you leave a dungeon, it will always be nighttime. So if you want to go Poe hunting, this is the perfect place to go to if you want to make the time of day night right away. Sorry, I had another burp stuck. Excuse me. In any case, we've reached the top. This is the place that people were sacrificed and sent to the Twilight Realm. Seems really creepy too, especially with that statue over there. But as you can see, it has a grind thing on it. You may be questioning why I'm turning into a wolf right here. Well, yeah. It wouldn't be that messed up to send you all the way up here without a way to come back. However, this is messed up. You have to deal with 5 of these things. And by the way, I believe I do get this on my first try by complete accident. Because I end up killing 2 of them, not realizing that, oh, I'm missing one. So the other one comes out over here and, oh wait, no, I don't. Never mind. I don't get it on my first try. I told a lie. So now all 5 of them are there, and okay, now what? Okay, I gotta admit that's one thing I don't like about this game, and I hope the possible HD version fixes it. Yeah, the fact that when you're doing that, if you hit one of the barriers, you're taken out of the combo, and that's one of the reasons why I keep getting screwed with that. In any case, we ride all the way over here to this desert goddess, which I believe, since this is Gerudo, the desert goddess is supposed to be Din. Very Hindu like look to it. In any case, we use this and we reveal where the actual Mirror of Twilight is. So, now that we've activated the actual Mirror of Twilight, and now that we know where it is, at least, and wow, what's this huge slab about? I guess now all that's left is for Minna to go over the Mirror of Twilight, and we go fight Zant, right? Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Patriot is like